On the news, Senate urges restoration of police orderly to serving members of the National Assembly. House of Representatives summons the Governor of the Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso, to appear before its Committee on Public Accounts. Plus, Nasarawa State House of Assembly recommends suspension of Lafia local government chairman over misconduct. A very good evening and welcome to Parliamentary News. I am Abubakar Galadima. Senate is urging the restoration of police orderly to serving members of the National Assembly. At plenary this Wednesday, the Deputy President of the Senate, Barrow Jibrin, said the Senate leadership is making consultations with relevant authorities on the issue. Barrow was reacting to a point of order raised by Senator Abdul Ningi, in which he alleged that the executive order directing withdrawal of police from VIPs is being flouted.
No, Mr. President's directive is in order and quite proper. But I want to assure you that the issue raised by to protect you is taken seriously. And the leadership sat yesterday, agreed that the course of action should be undertaken in order to restore your police orders to you, because it's in line with international practice. So, and I'm sure we have a listening president. He will listen to us, and by the grace of God, he will exempt us from that order.
Still on the Red Chamber, the Senate says it will do everything in its power to support the security agencies and Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to tackle incessant crude oil theft in the Niger Delta to boost production and increase the GDP of the country. Chairman Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Oil Theft, Ned Nwoko, stated this during an engagement with the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, at its headquarters in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Issa Mohammed has more on the visit.
This visit is in continuation of investigations into the crude oil theft in the Niger Delta region. The committee assured Nigerians that it will apply all necessary mechanisms within its legal power to bring to an end activities of pipelines vendors to enhance production and block leakages.
We've gotten very, as I said, credible documentary evidence of crude oil theft over a period of time, totaling about $300 billion.
The management of the NNPCL, led by Tairu Gorzo, appreciates the committee for the visit outlining progress and challenges of the NNPCL.
Today we boast of 100% pipeline availability. We tell the world, come and invest. Our lines are green. You will get the crude that you pump at the terminal, the export terminal, wherever you need your crude. So we really dominated the problems, as it were, on land and swamp.
The committee members also took a tour of the NNPCL surveillance system for first-class information on the activities of the company in tackling the oil theft. In Abuja, Issa Muhammad, NTA News.
Now to the Green Chamber. The House of Representatives has summoned the Governor of the Central Bank, Olayemi Cardoso, to appear before its Committee on Public Accounts to explain the Apex Bank's non-remittance of more than 5 trillion naira operating surplus and 11 trillion naira revenue accruing to the government coffers. Adopting a motion by the Chairman House Committee on Public Accounts, Bamidele Salam, the House notes that the alleged financial liability includes charges collected in administration of the remitter revenue collection system by the Apex Bank, which have not been remitted to government coffers between March 2015 to April 2016. These and other infractions the House revealed were cited in the Auditor General of the Federation's report for 2022, which indicted several agencies of government alongside the CBN.
Several formal communications and invitations extended to the Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria by the Public Accounts Committee to appear, provide explanations, and remit the outstanding amount into designated government account. The Central Bank of Nigeria has failed, refused, or neglected to honor the invitations or effect the required remittances as directed by the committee. Cognizant that at a time like this, when the nation is confronted with acute revenue shortages, heightened insecurity, and pressing developmental needs, the prompt recovery of all government funds is critical for national stability and economic sustainability.
Mr. President should pay attention to this this revelation from a committee that is a creation of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
This committee, as every other committees, if they had gone this far, I don't want us to frustrate them because of tomorrow, so that other committees may not bring this type of issue up again on this floor, because they know that once it is brought up, this House will now go and to set up another committee to come and do all the job they have done this far.
My intention, Mr. Speaker, let me tell you this. Some chairman of the committee has lost respect from the agencies they are supervising. If you change a pace, you can get that attention. That's my reason, that's my intention. But Mr. Speaker, in the light of this, I'm hereby withdrawing that amendment to report this matter to the standing committee.
There was, however, a mild drama on the floor as members were initially divided on whether the investigation should be carried out by an ad hoc committee. The House resolves to allow the Public Accounts Committee to continue with the investigation.
Clearly stated in our rule book, and the Public Accounts Committee has been a
Moving on, the significance of youth engagement in anti-corruption campaign within Nigeria's context has again been emphasized with a call to action for youths to use their voice as tool of positive change. This was re-echoed during an interactive session with stakeholders convened by the Green Chamber's Committee on Anti-Corruption in Abuja to mark this year's International Anti-Corruption Day. National Assembly correspondent Joshua Ogunjide takes it from here.
Themed Uniting with Youths Against Corruption, Shaping Tomorrow's Integrity. The discourse provided pathways for Nigerian youths to reject shortcuts, stand for truth, hold leaders accountable, and lead with integrity. In their submissions, the anti-corruption agencies believe youth represent an estimate of 60% of Nigeria's population and are the most affected, most technologically empowered, most influential in shaping public conversation and ultimately future leaders.
If we have to rebuild a new Nigeria where fairness, justice, transparency, integrity, and accountability will prevail.
For corpers, if you have served and you're supposed to get your NYC certificate and it's not given to you, you come to Public Complaints Commission, who will get it for you.
Code of Conduct has now expanded its net in the fight against corruption. We have now recovered a lot of assets.
Favoritism is something that is so common in governance, and we do not want that to happen. And even anywhere.
Aside galvanizing their voices into action for leadership and anti-graft war in the society, harnessing digital innovation to advance youth-driven integrity and transparency alongside rigorous legislative framework are inevitable.
I have passed a bill to the National Assembly, and it is at the second reading now, seeking to amend the Code of Conduct Tribunal and Bureau Act by changing the name. From Code of Conduct Tribunal, it would now be called Code of Conduct and Anti-Corruption Court, so that it will be a court of superior court of record. It will be placed strategically under sections 230 to 304 of the Constitution, so that it will be a court that should be at par with probably Court of Appeal or at least Federal High Court.
We have portals and platforms, we have applications, mobile apps, and all of that we can leverage on.
In Abuja, Joshua Ogunjide, NTA News.
Joining us to give more insight on the commemoration of the International Anti-Corruption Day is the Chairman House Committee on Anti-Corruption, Representatives Kayode Akiolu. You're welcome to Parliamentary News on NTA Parliament.
Thank you very much.
To start with, what is the significance of this convergence on Anti-Corruption Day?
We are celebrating the International Anti-Corruption Day, and that is why the committee have decided to come organize events to bring all the action units and the MDAs and the youth corpers in particular together to enlighten them, to discuss the issue of corruption and to let the youth know that they are the ambassadors of anti-corruption, they are the future, and so therefore fighting corruption starts with them. As
the theme implies, what are the mechanisms your committee in conjunction with other stakeholders adopting in uniting with the youths against corruption and in shaping their tomorrow's integrity?
First and first, if you look at our bills, we have different bills against corruption, and in particular, the committee is in partnership. Well, I would say partnership with the ICPC, who are the anti-corruption agency with the EFCC. We have a regular seminar, symposium. We gather youth both in secondary and universities, and we enlighten them on the menace of corruption and how it is a duty on them to start the crusade against it, which is what we tell them, catch them early.
During the engagements, one of the stakeholders mentioned the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Amendment Bill 2025. Can you shed more light on this?
It is seeking to expand the scope of the CCT to also try corrupt cases. So therefore, it will be all in one, which has passed through the second reading, and I'm one of the sponsors of the bill, which is a very good bill. And very soon we'll go into public hearing whereby all the stakeholders will come and air their view on it.
Thanks for your time and contribution, Representatives Kayode Akiolu.
You're welcome. God bless you. Thank you.
We will now go on a short break. The news continues in just a moment. Don't go away.
Some moments never fade. Some debates still echo. And some decisions continue to shape our future. Stay back in time with us as we revisit the redefining plenary sections of Nigeria's National Assembly. From intensive debates to landmark legislations, from voices of yesterday to lessons for today, we bring history alive. This is from the archives, where the past speaks to the present, and history guides the future. We write history, revisit the debates. From the archives, only on NTA Parliament. Watch us on DSTV channel, Go TV channel, Star Times channel, and free to air.
Thank you for staying with us. If you are joining us, this is NTA Parliamentary News, reaching you from NTA Parliament, Abuja. You can follow the platforms on the screen for more updates. Earlier this week, the United Nations Women's Office has commended the Nigerian National Assembly's strong commitment to strengthening legislation that will protect women and girls towards advancing their participation in governance through the ongoing constitutional review. The UN Women Deputy Executive Director made these commendations while briefing journalists after her engagement with stakeholders at the UN House in Abuja. National Assembly correspondent Isa Mohammed has more.
The United Nations Women Deputy Executive Director Nyarazai Gumbo Zenda, on a special visit to Nigeria, applauded the efforts made by the federal government and the National Assembly to ensure women inclusion in governance through the ongoing constitutional amendment. She acknowledges the courage and political will of President Ahmed Bola Tinubu against insecurity, appealing for extra efforts to rescue the remaining adopted schoolgirls.
My visit is a very clear and focused purpose to deepen partnership, reinforce national leadership, and accelerate collective action to advance gender equality, the empowerment and rights for all women and girls in Nigeria.
Dr. Nyarazai pledges the support of the United Nations Women to the campaign by Nigerian government in strengthening policy framework and enhancing digital safety for women as the body carefully observed the success of the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence as a global call. In Abuja, Isa Muhammad, NTA News.
In another development, 17 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly, led by Speaker Martins Amawale, have formally defected from the People's Democratic Party, PDP, to All Progressive Congress, APC, citing lingering leadership crisis within the PDP as the reason for deserting the party. The defection reshapes the political landscape of the Assembly, with PDP now a minority party in the Assembly. Nkiru
Speaker Martin Amehule announces on the floor of the House that 16 lawmakers have formally written to notify him of their decision to leave the PDP and defect to the APC.
The Constitution is clear that when there's division within the political party, when the party is divided, members, within assembly members, who no longer have hope, can leave the party without any dire consequence. So that is why I have to make this clear, that the foundation of this defection is the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that allows members to leave the party that elected them if it becomes clear that there is division.
But in a dramatic twist, one after the other, the 17 defectors, including the Speaker, rise to publicly affirm their decision to leave the PDP, citing the deep division within the party as their primary reason.
Mr. Speaker, that is my dilemma. The PDP is fractured from within, and so I have defected.
I am defected to the All Progressive Congress, the APC. Mr. Speaker, thank you. The needful will be done.
With 17 members now crossing over to the APC, the remaining 10 PDP lawmakers moved swiftly to elect 4 minority officers who were immediately sworn in. The leader of the House, Major Jack, then raises concern about the governor's failure to properly constitute a cabinet and the absence of an attorney general in the state. Speaking after plenary, APC chieftain Tony Okocha applauds the lawmakers' decision, assuring them of a full and warm reception into the party.
The House of Assembly did very well. In fact, Rivers House of Assembly on issues like this have always blazed the trail.
Meanwhile, the House receives a petition concerning a reported gas leak in Bile before adjourning sitting. Lawmakers are expected to reconvene on the 26th of January 2026. With this latest development, the Rivers State House of Assembly now stands at 17 APC members and 10 PDP members. In Port Harcourt, Nkiru Onyejesi, NTA News.
Moving on, in accordance with established financial regulations, Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly has ratified the reports from its Committee on Public Accounts on the audited accounts of the state government for the year ended December 31st, 2024. The audited report prepared by the State Auditor General was earlier submitted to the House Legislature for consideration and subsequently referred to the Public Accounts Committee for further legislative action. Nsikak Okon reports.
The Public Accounts Committee chairman and member representing Siribom State constituency, Eric Akman, highlighted the failure of various ministries, departments, and agencies to promptly retire standing and special impress as required by standard procedures. Among the committee's recommendations, which were unanimously adopted by the House, were directives for zonal directors and school principals to ensure the recovery of overpayments made to retired or deceased staff. The committee also recommended the establishment of audit committees in all MDS in accordance with the Akwa Ibom State Audit Law of 2021.
Failure of ministry, department, and agency to promptly retire standing and special interest in accordance with the standard rules. 2. Negligence on the part of the scheduled officers in the ministry, department, and agencies to process and obtain treasury receipt from the office of the State Accountant General for retirement on special interest. 3. Inability of the zonal directors and principals of schools to process the recovery of salary overpayment that we made to retire or deceased officers.
The Speaker of Akwa Ibom State House of Assembly, Udamoton, comments.
Accordingly, the report of the public accounts and the audit report of the Auditor General of the accounts of Akwa Ibom State of Nigeria for the year ended 31st day of December 2024 is hereby adopted and ratified. The clerk is hereby directed to communicate to the appropriate process.
Also at the plenary, the Akwa Ibom State Appropriation Law 2026, which was submitted to the legislature by Governor Omoino, had passed its second reading. The bill was subsequently referred to the House Committee on Finance and Appropriation for further legislative work, with a directive to report back to the House within 20 working days. Nsikak Okon, NTA News.
Still on state matters, the National State House of Assembly has recommended the suspension of the chairman Lafia local governments for irregularities and violating the provisions of the Constitution. Adams Abdulkadir completes the reports.
The lawmakers had reconvened for an emergency meeting after committing the 2020 appropriation bill to the committees to scrutinize MDA's budgetary provision. Musa Abubakar Ibrahim, member representing Doma South State constituency, rose to move for a motion of urgent public importance concerning the suspension of Lafia local government speaker by the Lafia local government chairman, Mohammed Harabu. It says the Lafia local government chairman should be suspended for the sake of peace and serve as deterrent to others.
The speaker was suspended for 6 months without him being notified for his actions or inactions in the office. If there is impeachment or suspension that takes up to 6 months, this assembly should know.
We have to rise up to occasion so that we can send the right signals to all the local governments that what we need in this state is absolute peace.
Quoting relevant laws that show clearly the decision of Lafia local government chairman Mohammed Haribu going contrary to the Constitution, Speaker Nasarawa State House of Assembly Danladi Jatu, however, directed that Mohammed Haribu should be suspended for 3 months in order to allow the committee to investigate matter.
The chairman of Lafia local government is hereby suspended for 3 months. The status of the legislative arm of Lafia local government remain till investigation is concluded by the Committee on Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs.
Meanwhile, the supporters of the suspended chairman besieged assembly entrance chanting solidarity songs.
Suggested a better way of resolving this issue than suspending the local government chairman.
To come to round table and solve the issue. I think it will go a long way in promoting unity, peace, and development, not only in Lafia local government, but in the entire state.
Police and other sister security personnel were present to forestall law and order. From the State House of Assembly, Adams Abdulkadir, NTA News.
Now to regional matters. ECOWAS Parliament remains critical in protecting democracy and democratic institutions' inclusivity and regional cohesion as it continues to push for peaceful electoral process by member states. This was the consensus reached by leaders of the West African, echoed at the 25th anniversary celebrations of the Community Parliament held in Abuja. Vivian Edepefo reports that the high point of the event was the recognition of the founding fathers of ECOWAS Parliament and former leaders of the legislative body.
25 years of resilience, playing the leadership role in mediation and peace advocacy among member states, is the story of ECOWAS Parliament, which has transformed from a mere consultation chamber to taking on the expanded role of oversight. Speaker of the Parliament, Maimunatu Ibrahima, reflects on the journey so far and affirms that the Parliament has become an important pillar of democracy.
First, we are making democratic consolidation and good governance our top priority, an objective that we will pursue in close synergy with national parliaments. Secondly, we are placing the empowerment of women and the youth at the heart of our agenda.
Let me charge you with the task before us of safeguarding democracy in our region. We in Sierra Leone bear witness to the transformative impact of ECOWAS and its parliamentary arm. From supporting peace-building efforts to driving regional cooperation on trade, security, migration, and human development.
Other speakers draw attention to the urgency of keeping the peace of the region while paying heed to events unfolding in Guinea-Bissau. They called for stronger collaboration to tackle the rising menace of terrorism.
Democracy, though challenge, remains the most reliable foundation for sustainable development and peaceful coexistence.
The ECOWAS Parliament remains a beacon of hope and a pillar of integration.
Your efforts in legislative harmonization, policy dialogue, and representation have been instrumental in strengthening the foundations of our community.
A moment to pay respect to history with the presentation of awards of recognition to the founding fathers and past leaders of the parliament amidst fanfare. In Abuja, Vivian Itekpefo, NTA News.
That report concludes parliamentary news for this evening. For more updates on this telecast and other programs, kindly follow NTA Parliament on the platform scrolling on your screen. Thanks for watching. On behalf of the production crew, I am Abubakar Galadima. Bye for now.